of applause. That's fantastic. My name is Ehab Jaleel, and I'm the executive director here at Amana Academy. And I believe that the world needs more citizen scholars. Humanity and the planet right now face unprecedented challenges. In about a few years, we're going to have 9 billion people on this earth. There is strife and war in different regions of the world. We're consuming the Earth's resources at an unprecedented rate. And we've got to have people in the future who are going to be able to address these challenges and also take advantage of opportunities to build knowledge amongst humanity, compassion, dignity, and justice across communities and the world at large. So the question is, who's going to lead us in the future on this journey? Do we believe that the current educational system that is very test-obsessed, that they're preparing our future generations for this role, or do we have a better solution? I'm actually optimistic because I believe in another model that I'm going to talk about in a second. Our school's Arabic-derived name, Amana, comes from a powerful and necessary sense of responsibility that we must adopt as our guiding principles if we're going to make progress. Amana means stewardship, which is foundational to our thinking. And in the founding of the school, the thinking was, let's find a model that really connects to that ideal. And the model that we arrived at was called Expeditionary Learning, which you've heard about today. Expeditionary Learning was born out of a collaboration between the Harvard School of Education and Outward Bound. And it's a framework. It's a framework that inspires learning for kids to learn. And it also is a framework that transforms schools into places where adults and children become leaders of their own learning. So what are the ingredients needed to produce citizen scholars? And how does expeditionary learning serve as an enabler for that? A scholar, as you know, is a lifelong learner who's ever deepening their knowledge base. The expeditionary learning model immerses students in the learning process as active participants. They start with a guiding question that requires them to think critically across subjects and across disciplines. They do field work to make observations, gather data, and test their assumptions. They become the scientists, they become the historians. They also become motivated, and that's the key. Because their curiosity is inspired, and they deepen their knowledge along the way. So what makes a scholar a citizen scholar? Being a citizen means that we understand our place in our communities with respect to our communities and also the world at large. Being a citizen means that we understand that we have certain privileges and we also have certain responsibilities. Expeditionary learning, through its design principles, reminds our students of those responsibilities and of their role as being citizens. Students are not just getting ready for the big test. There's purpose in their learning, and there's real-world applications. Let me give you a couple of examples. When our 8th grade students partner with a local nonprofit called Mad Housers to use STEM techniques for the design and building of a shelter for homeless people, and when our 5th grade students travel to North Georgia and other places in the Appalachian Mountains to find ways to eradicate a bug that is killing hemlock trees, they foster a service ethic that gives meaning to their bookwork and their homework. Those of us fortunate to work with expeditionary learning know how powerful it is and how powerful it can be to connect citizen to scholar. 160 schools around the country use the expeditionary learning model, and they partner with expeditionary learning. It requires resources and personal commitment. It requires a lot from our teachers. Teachers who teach at an expeditionary learning school are passionate about the craft of teaching. They have to be, because it takes much more effort than plugging a kid into a worksheet. It takes collaboration with other teachers. It takes more professional development, and it takes a lot more planning. Being a chartered public school affords us autonomy and allows us to introduce an innovative approach like this. We seek opportunities to exchange what we've learned with other schools and other educators. We invite policymakers, we invite district leaders, and we even invite foundations to see for themselves the advantage of an expeditionary learning approach. We are part of a growing movement that recognizes that the status quo falls short in preparing students to become future citizen scholars. Yet we face our own challenges in terms of financial equity and also, and sometimes, even credibility. Our funding gap is actually pretty simple. We don't get funding for our facilities through our state and local tax revenues. So we're forced to take monies out of our operating budget that would otherwise have been dedicated to more important purposes related to student learning. And in our case, that amounts to over $500,000 a year that a neighborhood school would get that we would not get. But we try our best to partially bridge that gap by running a leaner organization, by seeking grants from public and private donations, and even asking our own parents to give. And they do very generously. Given the power of the expeditionary learning model, just think what we could do if there wasn't a funding gap that we have currently. In the meantime, we'll continue to do our part to inspire students. They are the citizen scholars of the future, and we look forward to seeing what they come up with. Thank you.